Ragavan, a monkey born in the lush and sprawling Peema Forest of Kaladesh, was always something of an outcast. The life of a solitary creature did not suit him, nor did it fit the expectations of the other monkeys in his homeland. They were content with the quiet of the forest, the comfort of family, and the rituals that bound them to their natural world. But Ragavan, with his sleek black face, pointed tuft of crown hair and a glint in his eye, yearned for something more. The air felt heavy with adventure in his chest, and he knew he was meant for a life beyond the treetops, beyond the simple boundaries of the forest. Little did he know, this longing would soon lead him into the heart of the skies, on a path that would change his life forever. It all began the day an airship, the Sun Chaser, descended into the Peema Forest for supplies. It was a moment that altered the course of Ragavan's life. Drawn to the ship, he found a way aboard, slipping into the shadows, unseen and unheard. Below decks, hidden from view, he became an accidental stowaway, seeking refuge from the quiet life he had known. It was there, below the gleaming decks of the ship, that Ragavan met Kari Zev. At just 13 years old, Kari Zev was already a fiery force of nature. A girl with a spirit as wild as the skies themselves, she recognized something in Ragavan that was not so different from herself, an adventurous spark, a yearning for more. Perhaps it was the way his black eyes glittered with curiosity, or the way his fingers twitched in anticipation of something unknown, but she understood him. Kari Zev was a girl who had also never truly fit in, who had always dreamed of more than the limitations placed upon her. The two became fast companions, partners in an unspoken promise of discovery, freedom and rebellion. Ragavan was captivated by the life he had stumbled into. This was no ordinary airship, and the crew that called it home were no mere travelers. They were pirates. They sailed through the skies not bound by the earth below, and plundered merchant ships for their treasure. It was a life of daring raids, of taking what others valued, of outwitting their prey. It was a life where the skies themselves were the canvas for their exploits, and Ragavan, with his clever hands and nimble feet, was perfectly suited for the role of a pirate. It didn't take long for Ragavan to fully embrace his new life. He reveled in the thrill of jumping aboard unsuspecting ships, darting from one deck to the next, swooping down upon treasure with an agility no human could match. While the rest of the crew engaged in battle, Ragavan's role was clear: steal what they needed and disappear into the shadows with the loot. His presence became indispensable to the crew, and he became Kari Zev's closest ally and trusted companion. Together they were unstoppable. Through their shared adventures, Kari Zev's ambition grew, and she soon became the captain of her very own airship, the Dragon's Smile. With Ragavan at her side, she commanded a fleet of airships, and together they raided the mighty Consulate during the Ether Revolt. The sky was theirs to command, and their greatest victory came when they crippled the Consulate flagship Sky Sovereign, a moment that cemented their place in history. Ragavan reveled in the spoils of their daring exploits, often spending their ill-gotten wealth on the upkeep and repairs of their fleet of airships. The life of a pirate was unpredictable, but it was a life that suited him perfectly. Ragavan, however, was more than just a sidekick to Kari Zev. He was a vital part of their crew, a clever and resourceful force who could turn the tide of any raid with his quick thinking. His affinity for treasure, for shiny objects and rare finds, made him an unparalleled asset. But beyond his sharp instincts and swift hands, Ragavan was also fiercely loyal. He had found a family in Kari Zev and the crew of the Dragon's Smile, a group of misfits bound together by their shared love of the skies and their defiance of authority. When the new Phyrexian invasion swept across the multiverse, Kaladesh was not left untouched. Ragavan stood by Kari Zev's side once more, this time in defense of their homeland. Along with Rashmi and Diren Barrel, Ragavan fought valiantly to protect the city of Girapur from the invading Phyrexians. The battle was fierce, and the skies were filled with the sounds of war, but Ragavan's resolve never faltered. He had seen many battles, many skirmishes, but this was different. This was a fight for their very survival, and he would not let the Phyrexians take away the life he had fought so hard to build. In the aftermath of the invasion, Ragavan's journey continued. His reputation as a daring pirate, a master of raids and a loyal companion to Kari Zev spread far and wide. He became a symbol of rebellion, of freedom, and of the untamed spirit that refused to be crushed under the weight of oppression. But his journey didn't end there. As the Girapur Grand Prix loomed on the horizon, the keel haulers racing team turned to Kari Zev and Ragavan for help. The duo was hired as mercenary guides, tasked with leading the racers through the treacherous paths of Girapur. Once again, Ragavan found himself amidst adventure, guiding others through a city that held both danger and opportunity. Through it all, Ragavan remained true to himself. He was no ordinary monkey. He was a pirate, a protector, a friend, and a symbol of the untamed spirit that defied the constraints of society. His adventures had taken him from the quiet forests of Kaladesh to the heart of the skies, from the battlefield against the Phyrexians to the twists and turns of the Girapur Grand Prix. And through it all, he remained unbowed, ready for whatever the future held. The story of Ragavan is not one of mere treasure or glory, but of the freedom to choose one's path, to carve out a life beyond the confines of expectation. It is a story of adventure, of rebellion, and of the unbreakable bond between two unlikely companions, a monkey and a girl who together defied the odds and soared through the skies.